Hello, I'm Lorelei. Welcome. She really hates it when I do that. It's secretly me, Joe, so I'm trying to sneak this past her editing. But she is working on like a Valentine's Day surprise. I'm sure it's going to be like a sweet treat. I'm a big cookie fan, and I saw the cookie cutter that she has lined up here. So I'm going to sneak out of here. She said it was Nutcracker themed, whatever that means. I'm going to sneak out of here before she catches. Hey. How's it going, honey?
This isn't for
No,
anything.
I just knew that you were working on something Nutcracker themed, so I was just doing a little dance. So shall we can partner. Ready? I'll do the lifts and you just do the arms. Ready? Do. And you pretend like you're moving. You pretend you're moving. Pretend you're moving. Like a beret. There we go. Yes.
I really would like it better if you actually carried me. I was gonna make something, but
okay. I know. I know. I'll go in case it's a surprise. So you know, I'm a big fan of my cookies. So
you're planning a Valentine's surprise for me, aren't you?
Yes. I better go get to that and leave you to your work. Surprise!
I can't wait. Hey, I'm Lorelei, registered dietitian nutritionist. Welcome to my kitchen. So yes, today I am planning a Valentine's Day treat for Joe. But Joe isn't the biggest sweet fan, and to be honest, sweets aren't always the healthiest option. So I'm actually going to create like a savory Valentine's canapé for him, and hopefully it will be fun for both of us perhaps to share. So this canapé is going to start with a nutcracker base. Nut and seed cracker. So a cracker made of nuts and some seeds. And we can make this at home on our own. And it's actually really simple. The first thing we're going to start with is almond flour. Now, I actually just made my own by grinding up some raw almonds. You can buy almond flour in the store. I don't know if there's any difference. I don't know that anything is actually extracted from almond flour. I think it's just almonds ground up. So that's what I'm using. And you can do that. I usually do that in like a spice grinder. I think it works pretty well. The recipe for these nut crackers are going to be in the description for this video. However, I'm just going to do half a batch because it actually makes a fair amount of crackers and I don't need that many right now. So it's obviously flexible. Adjust the measurements if you need to make a smaller or larger batch. So the small batch starts with a half a cup of almond flour, and I made that by grinding up a half a cup of almonds. I had whole almonds. I think it's a little easier to grind them if you use slivered almonds, but use what you got, do the best you can. And we're just gonna put that into a bowl here. And then the seeds. Ground flaxseed. You can buy flaxseed ground, but also you can grind your own flaxseed in the same way I ground the almonds in a coffee grinder or a spice grinder. You can probably do it in your food processor, maybe your Vitamix, however you like to do that. Get out your mortar and pestle if you need to, but that's gonna take a little longer. And we want 1 tablespoon of flax meal. Again, as I said, the recipe in the description is for a full batch. I'm only doing a half batch right now. Put that right in. And then we're gonna use a tablespoon of sunflower seeds. And these are just whole, so these are gonna add a little bit of texture to the crackers. And then I have some spices, a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder and salt. And then I'm also using an Italian herb blend. And I'm using the Italian herb blend that was sent to me by my friend at 360 Degree Flavor and Spice. I really encourage you to check out that store if you want to buy some fresh herbs and spices online from a small business. So check that out in the description. They're located in Geneva, Illinois, which is near where I live in Chicago. And you can always order from them. You can use any sort of savory herb blend that you like. And I'm gonna dump these in here as well. This is actually a gluten-free recipe. So we're using almond flour and things like that instead of any sort of actual wheat flour or even oat flour. I think this can be made with those types of flour, but I think it's fun to try it this way. Ends up being a really nice savory cracker. And then we're gonna add some liquid ingredients limitedly. So I'm gonna add about a half a tablespoon of olive oil. That's about a half a tablespoon. And then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of marinara sauce. Last time, instead of using 2 tablespoons of marinara, I used a tablespoon of tomato paste and a tablespoon of water, and it worked out just fine. So I think this recipe is versatile. This is just gonna add some moisture to the crackers, but it's also adding some nice flavor, that savory tomatoey flavor to them. Just 2 tablespoons, not very much. And that's it. And then I'm just gonna mix this with a fork in this bowl here. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna preheat my oven to 350 degrees. These are just gonna bake in the oven. We're gonna roll them out, but first let's mix. So this seems like a really small amount of dough, and it's not a lot, but because we're rolling them so thin, it makes a fair number of crackers, so that's what I'm doing. This is also a pretty wet dough. So you can see, yeah, it's actually it's very soft. But we're gonna put it on, I'm gonna use a silicone mat, but you could also just put it on parchment paper, and we're gonna roll it out between 2 layers of parchment paper, or between silicone mat and parchment paper, so that it's not gonna stick as we roll it out. Rolling pin. And I made a little cookie / cracker cutter out of a soda can. So you can see this is like, it was like a La Croix can, to make a little heart shape, because I didn't have a heart-shaped cookie cutter that I could easily find. So I thought this was a fun way to just make it myself. So this is not a low-fat cracker. You saw that it's mostly nuts and seeds, but it is a healthy fat cracker. Nuts are a really good choice of fat to add to your days. Put some parchment paper on the top, and you can start to press it down here. And so even though it's a really soft, kind of sticky seeming dough, this is gonna lift right off of it, more or less. Hopefully it works as well as it did the last time. You wanna roll it out pretty thin, so think crackers. Make sure it's pretty even. Okay. Now, you could actually just bake it just like this, and then break it apart once it's baked and make kind of some rustic crackers, but I think it is also fun to cut them into shapes. So that's what we're gonna do now, is I'm gonna try to cut some little heart shapes out of this dough. We'll see how well this is. Pretty flimsy aluminum cookie cutter, but we'll see how well it works. There are some seeds in here, so it's not necessarily easily breaking through the seeds. So my heart shapes are a little rustic, but I'm not worried about it. I think they're still gonna be cute once they're baked. But I do have some leftover dough, because I tried to pull away the little edges, the little bits that remained around the edges. So I can roll this out too and make a few more crackers out of that. These are not gonna spread, and so it doesn't matter that they're all kind of stuck right near each other. I'm just gonna put this whole silicone mat right on a baking sheet and right into the oven for about 15 minutes. And if you were rolling out on parchment, same thing. You would just take the parchment that you rolled it out on and put that right on your tray and bake it right on that, so that you can get them off when you're done baking them. And they wouldn't come off the tray right now, because the dough, again, is very soft. Let's pop these in the oven, and I'm gonna roll out the rest of the batter just to kind of get it made as well. 15 minutes. And you can make more hearts, or you can just score it using a knife. You just leave it scored like this right on the mat as you put it in the oven to bake. And it's okay if the shapes are a little weird. At least I think it is. While the crackers are baking, we can start to think about getting a little crafty with our canapés. I actually made some hummus with beets, so we have a nice festive Valentine's Day color. I have a recipe on my channel about how you can make your own hummus. I made this hummus using sunflower seed butter in place of tahini. I also have a recipe on my channel about how you can make your own sunflower butter out of sunflower seeds. So this is chickpeas, sunflower butter, garlic, lemon, beets, and like things like salt and some water and olive oil. So this is already made up, and we're going to use this to spread on top of our crackers, and then we can kind of decorate them in some little fancy ways. So I have a few ingredients here that I wanted to try today. The first is fresh beet. We're going to maybe shave some little slices of that, and then I've got some cucumber. I'm probably going to take off the outer green layer and then shave some little light green slices from there. And then today I'm going to work with jicama, which is an interesting vegetable. It's got a very kind of light flavor, but it's a nice crisp vegetable and it's nice and white inside. So again, I'm gonna shave off some slices and we're gonna try to make some little fancy roses to put on top of our canapes and decorate them. And of course, it's also adding some vegetables to our treat. And then I've got some chives and some dill, which are gonna be our garnishes to kind of make the whole thing work together. And think of this as a craft. I'm not sure exactly how these are gonna turn out, but I wanna just play around and have a little fun. You certainly don't have to get all fancy about this. You could just have some heart-shaped crackers and dip them in hummus, and that might be fun. But if you wanna make something kind of a little fancy, a little like an appetizer, something that looks a little special, you know, why not? It's kind of like decorating cookies, but a savory, healthier version of that. So I'm just gonna grab my vegetable slicer and do some peeling here. So I'm gonna get off the outer layer of this jicama because I don't wanna use the skin. I wanna use what's underneath. I'm gonna use a knife to peel off some of the skin from this jicama. We definitely aren't gonna use this whole jicama, so I'm just gonna take a little section of it that we can shave some slices off of. Jicama is actually a good vegetable to like slice up and use as like a crudité or whatever, so you can dip it in hummus or some kind of vegetable dip. It's an interesting one, or you can grate it and put it on salads and take out some of the skin of the cucumber. And then once we've got the outer skin off, we can just peel some little slices from there, some little strips, and I'll show you what our plan is. A little green. Let's get some slices of the jicama. And then we can take some slices from this beet as well. Just some little strips. Colors here are so pretty. And the idea is we're gonna try to make like some little rosettes just by layering these on top of each other and then rolling it up. We're gonna play. We're just gonna see what happens here a little bit. My crackers are telling me they're done, so I'm gonna get a rack. All right, I think the crackers might be done. Yes, so they're kind of browned on the edges and dry on the top, and then we should just be able to remove them right from the mat and put them on a cooling rack. Woohoo! These are super cute. Yes, they're a little rough around the edges, but I think that's gonna be okay. I think they're still sweet. And then these are the ones that we just scored, and these ones will just separate and break apart once you take them out of the oven, right where you scored them. Yep, so we've got some other crackers as well that aren't heart-shaped, but they'll still taste good. Once the crackers are cool, we're gonna spread them with some of the hummus, and then we're gonna decorate. So just like frosting a cookie. But you might be able to put that on there a little bit thicker. Make sure you can still tell it's a heart. A heart cracker with heart-healthy hummus. So it's taken a little bit of trial and error, but I think I've come up with something that is really fun and kind of fancy and a little bit festive. After spreading some hummus on the cracker, I've been rolling up little thin slices of cucumber, jicama, or beet, kind of combining them together, making a little rosette. And then you can just place that rosette on the hummus where it will stick to the cracker, and then maybe garnish it with just some little sprig of dill or a little bit of a green onion and make it look cute. It doesn't have to be perfect, but when they're all together in a group, I think they actually look really sweet. Okay, so I have a treat done for Joe. So maybe this is something you can try as well to make a Valentine for your special Valentine.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's not gonna be a secret anymore.
Dun, 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 cookies. Dun,
Oh.
dun, dun, what the?
They're not cookies.
They're really
Well, it's
pretty.
a Valentine treat for you.
Are they cookies?
They're
Or
heart-shaped.
things? Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
cute.
And they're Valentine colors.
They look really good.
Yeah.
Really pretty. I don't want to eat them now.
They are meant to be eaten. So happy Valentine's Day, my dear.
Thanks, my love. Thank you.
You want to taste one?
Yes.
Okay.
They're pretty things. Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. What are they made of?
Well, why don't you find out?
Okay, let's find out. I see some rolled strips of cucumber, rolled strips of onion, beet. Okay. They're good. No hummusy.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice bite.
Yep.
What is it, about 3 bites?
Probably 2.
2 bites?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're quite tasty.
All right.
No hummus, a little bit of earthiness. The crackers are good.
Those are your nutcrackers.
Oh, those are good. Hence the nutcracker episode. They're good.
Do they rival the cookies that you were hoping for?
Always a fan of cookies, but in cracker terms, these are great.
Yeah, these are a little healthier, but they still look pretty infestive.
Don't want to be dissing the cookies.
No.
Why don't we make some super healthy cookies sometime?
Well, cookies can only be so healthy until they turn into crackers.
Disagree.
You eliminate sugar, and suddenly they're crackers. So let's say these are healthy cookies.
All right, they're good. Thank you. They're pretty awesome.
You're welcome. So this little project, I thought it was fun. Hopefully Joe will enjoy them, and hopefully whoever you are making a Valentine for this year might enjoy them as well. They make a great appetizer too. I know these are for Joe, but I gotta taste one too. The crackers are light and crunchy, and they've got a real nutty flavor. They go really well with the hummus and with these cool fresh vegetables that we've rolled up and topped them with. Mmm. It's a really fun, light bite. And pretty infestive too. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and do that. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Oh. All right. I don't know that I can get this jar open, so there we go. I got it.